Text 41 to 48 is talking about Varnashrama Dharma. How we can offer Karma Yoga to Krishna. Or how to offer actions to Krishna, the Lord is describing in this section. Text 41. Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Shudranam Cha Parantapa Karmani Pravibhaktani Svabhava Prabhavir Gunay. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in accordance with the material modes. For chastiser of the enemy. Shamo Damas Tapaha Shaucham Shantir Arjavam Evacha Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam
Jnanam Vijnanam Astityam
Dharma Karma Svabhajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Shauryam Tejotirtaksham Yuddhe Chapi Apalayana Dhanameshvara Bhavayascha Shatram Karma Swabhavajam. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in the battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Krishi Goraksha Vanityam Vaishyakarma Svabhavacham Paricharyatmakam Karma Shudrasyapi Svabhavacham. Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras, there are labor and service to others. how Karma Yoga becomes practical. The Lord is explaining here in this section. The Supreme Lord is explaining that different kinds of people have different natural qualities. And according to the qualities which have been developed, they can take up different roles. So the first aspect the Lord is explaining here is that you see rather than becoming a complete whole, it is better to take up some role. Or if you say it is better to take up some role rather than trying to become a complete whole. Yeah, it's better to take up some role rather than trying to become a complete whole. So alone trying to see the idea of churning out Krishna consciousness alone is not at all recommended by the Supreme Court. From an individual standpoint, nothing much can be achieved, even on the spiritual ground. But actually, in cooperation with uh, like-minded people, here in this case, when we are talking about Varnashrama, Varnashrama is being so the Varnashrama is the Lord's answer to how to practically implement Karma Yoga, basically. And the Lord is telling, if you do it in a system, it is going to be very nice. Because when there is a system, then everyone can take up a role rather than everyone being a complete whole. And to face problems of from multiple directions and dimensions. So therefore the Lord establishes the socio-organizational structure. And the Lord is telling, if you follow the system, it will be easy to practically implement the precepts, the injunctions of the Shastras. Following the system. So we have to understand that in every undertaking, in all efforts, we are always, as Radheshyam Prabhu says, we are always co-workers or cooperators. So we need the contribution and the effort of our devotees actually. So even to be able to advance. No doubt about the fact, Srila Prabhupada used to say that in spiritual life, everyone has to fly his own plane. That means the effort everyone has to put on his own. But what all grounds to battle is the question. How many grounds and what all grounds to battle? What all grounds to battle? So if one says, no, no, I will on my own only stand, then actually one has to battle on all the different grounds. And every possible ground is requires a different kind of a struggle. Therefore, the Lord is explaining it is better that one section of people who are naturally inclined towards it, they focus and resurrect that pillar of the social structure. And therefore, there are these four types of pillars which the Lord is explaining. So the Lord is dividing. The Lord's division is very simple and meaningful. The Lord is dividing on the basis of qualities. The Lord is telling on the basis of qualities. So Lord's division is quite simple but quite effective. And Lord is telling based on the natural qualities or natural inclinations. What do we mean by natural qualities and natural inclinations? So basically, anything which is practiced for quite some time is called as natural. Is it not? In more common word, we say, okay, experience. Experience. Like say, for example, companies, they want experienced candidates. That means what? Whatever software technology they are working in, they don't want to take somebody who will come and learn. They want people who have practiced it. So practice it, experience. That means what? For them to take a problem and to start working on it will come out natural, more natural. They don't have to be spoon fed. They don't have to be handheld. And such a person can be more productive. That is the company's thought process. So somebody embarking first time, he has to struggle himself only and do some internships which don't pay you much or free. Do some certifications to prove that okay he is experienced, and then he may get some job offer. That's the point. In the same way, the Lord is explaining that all these four roles actually need experience. For one to be able to drive it, you need experience. So this goes to show that now anything and everything can be inculcated. Anything and everything can be inculcated. However, a sadhaka, a devotee, has to a sadhaka has to understand by meditation what is easiest for him to cultivate, or where one can be one can be strongest. Everywhere there is going to be battle. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, all of them have to face the battle. But the choice on which ground to battle is with us. So based on propensities or proclivities or inclinations, one can decide where best to battle. And then those qualities one has to work on getting those qualities. So now if you see the full list actually, for some people they may not be having any quality out of any of the four divisions. Means like not many qualities of each of the four divisions needed. Either in substantial amount or in acceptable amounts or noteworthy amounts. That's the point. Now what to do? So then are we Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? What should we do or what should we become? So that's the idea. So then what are we? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? So then one has to choose which one is easy to work with enough for myself and which one I can cultivate. which one I can cultivate, and then one works for that. So here, therefore, the understanding of natural is not that many of these, is not exactly that these qualities are installed script within us. It just means practice. So something which looks like installed script, it has been practiced in a previous life. That's all. It's not much different. That is the reason when the society doesn't have any, like one time the society didn't have any Kshatriyas. So Agastya Muni got a band of people, a group of people, and trained them to become Kshatriyas. So why? Because Lord Parshuram had killed all the nefarious Kshatriyas. So no Kshatriyas were remaining on the planet. And then Agastya Muni, he trained a group of people whom he chose, and he trained them to be Kshatriyas. Similarly, in Kali Yuga, there are no Brahmanas. So by the same logic or by the same principle, Srila Prabhupada trained a group of people to be Brahmanas. So that means by training, one can fit anywhere and qualify to be any, to take up any role. But for some people, a certain training will be easier, and for some people, a certain training will be difficult. This is called as proclivity or inclination. And this one has to understand by meditation, by introspection, by looking into oneself. Okay, which training is feasible for me? At least which training I'm enthusiastic about. At least which training I am ready to undertake. And toughness and tests will be present in every kind of training. But the sadhaka has to choose which one I can embark upon. So that is why it is said that better take up one role. That will be good. Now we say, okay, better take up one role that will be good. Like say for example, in a company job, they tell a person, okay, you better fix to one technology. You better fix to one technology. You don't hop from one technology to other technology to other technology. Actually, one can. It's not that difficult. But why they ask you to fix? Because the more technologies you say you can operate on, the more difficult the life will be. That's the only point. So one has to, suppose 2 hours a day one is coding in Java, 3 hours a day one is coding in Python, and the remaining 3 hours coding in Node.js. It's quite taxing because three different. The performance will go down. That's a good point. But if all through one is just focusing on one stack, one technology, then the performance, the focus, absorption will be much more. Similarly, in PhD, they say, okay, you take up one topic, and generally they make a topic very narrow, very narrow. Like say if it is chemistry, and the periodic table has more than 110 elements, they will say, okay, you just focus on one element. Now somebody says, no, I can focus on 10 elements. You can, but it is going to be 10 times difficult. That's the whole point. Or like in undergraduate also, they say, okay, you take up one department. But somebody says, no, I want to take up 2 departments. So if you want to take up 2 departments, then it is going to be doubly problematic. No? That's the whole point actually. So in the same spirit, the Lord is telling, better take up one road. Better take up one road. Now the Lord is explaining 2 things. In the following verses, when the Lord explains about the qualities, 2 things the Lord is doing. First of all, the Lord is mentioning the qualities, as a checking criteria that we can see actually what suits us or where we can struggle. Secondly, the Lord is telling the expectations that whatever you choose, you have to stand by those qualities. Krishna is telling you have to stand by those qualities. So basically, Varnashram system, in this way, we can say Varnashram system acts like a vehicle. We have to go from one place to another. One need not go all the way running and get a heat stroke and land in a hospital. One can take up a vehicle. But but Vivan says no. If one wants, he can run at 40 kilometers. He can run 30 kilometers, 100 kilometers. Okay. Everything is possible by practice, but the point is that it's highly ineffective. So one takes a bus, one takes a car, jeep. It's more effective. Similarly, the national system is much more effective. That's the point. So now the point which comes here is that now somebody says, okay, I want to do more service, so should I take up more roles? Brahman role also, Kshatriya role also, Now, okay, it's difficult, but will that help if I take different roles? So now the point is that here, Varnashrama involves dealing with the material energy and offering the material energy to Krishna. Basically, that is Varnashrama all about. That okay, how to interface material energy, how to handle the material energy, offer that to Krishna. That's Varnashrama all about. So we should interact. Now the point is that we should interact with matter in a regulated and limited manner. Too much interaction will create overwhelming effect. We may get overwhelmed by mental energy. So therefore, we should interact with matter the basic minimum so that our sustenance survival can take place and our chitta, our consciousness can flow towards now our chitta, our consciousness can flow towards the lotus feet of the Lord and can be absorbed in the lotus feet of Krishna. So how much mental energy to interact with? So we should interact with that much mental energy. Basically, we should interact with that much mental energy which can help us to fix our chitta at the lotus feet of the Lord. So no interaction of mental energy, it will be difficult to absorb in Krishna because all we understand is mental energy. So that's the point. Is it not? Therefore, Prabhupada says, just thinking of Krishna, impossible. Just chanting Krishna's names throughout the day, impossible. So no interaction, mental energy, it will be very difficult to focus on Krishna. Our mind will go crazy and wild because it is not purified enough. And it doesn't get purified enough so easily. But too much interaction with mental energy, then it will drown us. It is like a high wave of ocean will completely engulf us. So it has to be optimum. Therefore, the idea of choosing different roles or all the roles is not a recommended idea because then the interaction with mental energy will be too much. That's the point. So a devotee does not, so therefore a devotee, he doesn't want to become, he doesn't want to prove himself to be a superhero. But a devotee is happy in being absorbed in service to Krishna. That's the point. Therefore, one should pick up a role, a particular set of qualities according to that role, and focus on cultivating those qualities. That's the idea. So that is the idea. Now going forward, we see that actually, if we try to see these four divisions are very nicely arranged. Uh, the Brahmanas deal with ideas, visions and ideas. The Kshatriyas deal with people. The Vaishyas, they deal with animals. They should deal with animals. And the Shudras, so yeah, Vaishyas deal with animals, and then generally Shudras also Vaishyas deal with. So and then the Shudras, they deal with things. Shudras deal with things. That is how the orientation is. The Shudras deal with things. The so now this is very beautiful because you see, and this is very instructive also. You see, the Shudras deal with things. Things. The Vaishyas deal with animals, and the Kshatriyas deal with people, and the Brahmanas deal with vision and ideas. Now this goes to show that now we can understand here how very interesting now how and why Kali Yuga people are called as Shudras. So there is a proof for that also. Why? Because in Kali Yuga people are most attached to things. People are attached to television, people are attached to smartphone, people are attached to their bike, car, house, things. The mind is absorbed in things, and that's exactly what a Shudra is. That's exactly what a Shudra is. That's exactly the proclivity needed for a Shudra. That's not exactly a Shudra. Now, if you try to see, this goes to show that these Brahmanas should not interact with things so much. Now, this justifies the point that the Brahmanas are basically living a very simple life because they are not attached to things. If they surround themselves or their lives with the things or within the things, then they will lose their Brahmanical Shakti. They will start developing Shudra traits. Got the point? This is very interesting here. So that is why you will see many senior devotees. I have heard Srila Prabhupada disciples, many senior devotees. Many times they many times talk about being cautious about usage of gadgets. Making our lives too much dependent on gadgets. And many times I have heard senior devotees talking on a warning note in a derogatory manner, toward these things. That's a warning. Why? Because There is a point in that. It's not that okay, we have to, the world is changing and we have to, be at par with the world. So be in the world, be in Rome as Romans behave and all that. No, all that is not that important a reason. All that may be fine, but a more important reason is that we need to see that our Chetana gets the right kind of food. Our Chetana gets the right kind of food. Therefore, as a Brahmana, one should not too much fluff into things. So things and dealing with things actually will take one's mentality a bit astray. A bit astray. I remember one time Radheshyam Prabhu was telling an incident where the computer in the IVF room, common computer, is not working. And there was a brahmachari devotee, and this devotee spent 3 days trying to fix it up. Day and night he was just obsessed in trying to fix it up. Radheshyam Prabhu heard that he was not at all in favor. Radheshyam Prabhu said, no, this is very wrong. This is very wrong. And ultimately it didn't get fixed up, or it got fixed up in a patch of day, and again it was real problems, and then again they had to, so ultimately they had to call a mechanic, and somebody who is a computer repair. And then that fellow fixed up the problem in 2 hours or 3 hours and went off. So Radheshyam was telling you, see, the point is that the brahmachari devotee should not have undertaken this. Why? Because that's not a Brahmana's job. It's as simple. So first of all, he didn't have expertise. He may have had some exposure to it, maybe prior to coming to Krishna consciousness, or so some exposure he might have got, but he didn't have that practice and expertise. So he'll end up wasting 3 days, and with his head hard, and then also the problem didn't get solved. So then Radheshyam was telling, better pay somebody who is in the role of a Shudra, pay that person something and get things done. Is it not? That's the point. So the point is that if one is obsessed by it, then that may lead to one actually one feeding the Shudra traits actually. And then Radheshyam also cites cases where some devotees they were missing in the morning program. The Japa time they were missing, and then Radheshyam went to search them. Where are they? And he found them, when brahmachari Champani is sitting on the computer. He is, he is doing this formatting for printing and all that. So you see the point. Is Japa time, a time meant for this?